Hey guys, it is Wingy here and welcome to a brand new video on my channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Cybermen and why I've got an issue with them. Now, just to sort of start this video off explaining what it's really going to be about, I love the Cybermen, right? They are my favourite villain. I've said it in countless different videos, and a lot of their stories, I mean a lot, well, do I mean a lot? Quite a few of their stories I do really enjoy and I genuinely love, and I would say that they are some of the best stories in the history of the show. That being said, I have a problem with how they have been written for pretty much the majority of the time that they've been around. I don't think it's good enough, and I've got an issue with it, and I want to talk about it and what I would do personally to solve it. So first and foremost, what is my problem with the Cybermen? The thing is, as a concept, as a design, just everything about the Cybermen is pure gold. Maybe not for them because they're allergic to it, but the actual ideas behind the Cybermen are petrifying. My problem is they don't use that enough. Surely there must be writers out there who look at the Cybermen, see what they are, see the concepts and ideas around them, but just they don't seem to use it. Surely someone will, right? Russell, are you gonna give it another go? Somebody else, who knows? Thing is with the Cybermen, because they are us, they are a warning about technology. They are a warning about how far people may go to survive. I mean, we're already in a society that is very technologically based. Think about it, even 10, 20 years ago, how different things were compared to now. We are so reliant on technology. I mean, this is a prime example. Who's even seen money now? Genuinely, I actually can't remember the last time I saw real life, proper money. Every time you go somewhere, whether it's out to the shops, to the pubs, restaurants, train station, bus station, wherever it might be, you just take out a little bit of plastic from your pocket, tap it on a machine, and there goes your money. And then to check how much money you've actually got, you use your phone or a computer and check it online, or you even go to a cash machine. Like, how often now do people use money? Like, this is where we're at as a society. We are so reliant on things like that. Even this video, like, I'm recording it on a camera, I've edited it on a computer, I've uploaded it through the internet, all that sort of stuff. Everything is reliant on technology now. The Cybermen are perfect to show people the warnings of it. I think part of the problem is there is a line with Doctor Who, and I have spoken about this before. I've done a video where I'm talking about how far should or could Doctor Who actually go, and I do understand that for Saturday evening tea time viewing, maybe there are some concepts that are a little bit too far, but I still think they can take it a little bit further. You look at stories like World Enough in Time and the world building there and the creepiness in there. You look at stories such as Rise of the Cybermen and Age of Steel. I think that was well done. Even the 10th Planet, you know, things like that. There's too many times now with the Cybermen where they just ignore that humanity aspect and that technological warning aspect and the creepiness and the relentlessness of the Cybermen, and in favour they turn them into these generic robot villains that don't really offer that much of a threat. I mean, for fuck's sake, like, there was an entire scene where Peter Capaldi is running through a forest waving his sonic screwdriver around and all these Cybermen are blowing up. Now yes, I know that that was because of shit in the floor or some bollocks like that, but either way, how is that good? That doesn't improve the Cybermen, that doesn't send a message, that doesn't creep you out or scare you. It's just, yep, there they go again. And listen, there are examples in Doctor Who's history where you don't have to rely on the things that I'm talking about, like the whole creepiness and conversion and humans and technology and blah blah blah. You don't have to rely on that. There have been Cyberman stories in the past where they are just genuinely great stories and Cybermen are the villain. You look at something like Earthshock, The Invasion to a certain degree, The Moon Base, Tomb of the Cybermen. Like, these aren't reliant on that creepiness and the horror aspect, and they are great stories and they don't have to lean into that. And I think if you were to do the whole, you know, creepy conversion thing every single time, then people will get fed up and people will get a bit bored, and you do need to change it up every now and again. But at the same time, how many times have we actually seen that aspect? Now, I know that there's stuff in Big Finish, such as Spare Parts, where they do lean into that, but that's audio, you know, that's just one aspect of Doctor Who. The bread and butter, or the meat and veg of Doctor Who, is the TV show. I just don't understand how these are, apart from the Daleks, the most iconic Doctor Who monster, and for seemingly years now, we've not had a story that makes you feel like they're powerful, like they're relentless, like they're terrifying. And even when we get a glimpse of a story potentially looking like that, like World Enough and Time, it gets thrown away the next week. You know, it shouldn't be a case of 1 week, it's like, yeah, we're converting people, they're in pain, they're even saying that in the hospital, they're lumbering around, they're twisted, they're essentially a hacked zombie in a metal suit, and then next week it's like, don't worry about it. If you've got a girlfriend made of puddle, then she will come and save you and you'll be fine, you don't need to worry about it. Or let's just blow them all up anyway, because that's so much better. From a writing standpoint, like I said earlier, it must be a goldmine if you've got the right attitude towards it. If you just look at them as like, yep, let's just bring back the Cybermen, that isn't right. I think you need to have that story in your head already. Like, whoever is going to be involved with the series coming up now, whether it's Russell or whoever it is he brings on, if they're going to do a Cyberman story, they need to have an idea drilled into their head, because I am so sick and tired of stories that don't need to feature the Cybermen. Bring them in just because, well, it's the Cybermen. They've not been around for like, what, 6 months? Thing is, the same thing goes for the Daleks as well, and the Master to a certain extent. But you kind of get what I mean. Like, I want someone to have a vision. I want someone to say, this is what I want to do with the Cybermen. Now, me personally, I've got a few ideas of what I would want to do with the Cybermen, how I would write them into a story. I think potentially maybe have the Cybermen farm people. Like, they have their own farm where they, you know, farm people and they keep getting stronger and stronger, and the Doctor has to deal with that, and there's a whole morality thing. Maybe it could even tie into some sort of political issues, like, because I know people love that in Doctor Who. Or maybe just focus on the actual origins and genesis of the Cybermen, you know, how a society goes from one place to the Cybermen. How do we see that? Obviously Spare Parts and, you know, Rise of Cybermen, Age of Steel, kind of. That does kind of touch upon it, but I want to see it more. I want to see it in more detail. I want to see the gritty aspect to it. And listen, you don't need to see people getting hacked to pieces and, you know, their body parts being replaced with metals and plastics and things like that, but you don't need to show the gore or the violence. I think emphasize how horrific they are by looking at them in general once they're finished. You know, these are your loved ones, these are people that you knew before, and now they are this cold, emotionless, relentless being. Touch upon the question of, obviously, like most people, they have a fear of death, myself included, but would you do that to make sure that you lived? These are some interesting questions that I think would be perfect for Doctor Who, if only somebody would just fucking do it. And enough of throwing the Cybermen and a whole host of other Doctor Who villains into a story just for the sake of doing it. That's fucking toy box writing. And what I mean by that is literally like when you're a 10-year-old and you've got action figures and you're playing with them, and it's like, oh, you know, I'm gonna have the Cybermen fight the Daleks, and then they're going to team up with Davros, and they're going to fight all these different versions of the Doctor, but then they'll get blown up because the TARDIS arrives and spins around too fast or some shit. That's what you do as a kid. You shouldn't be writing scripts like that. You know, Moffat did it a whole host of times. And let's be fair, Russell wasn't exactly perfect with the Cybermen either, because whilst he did have Rise of Cybermen, Age of Steel, I don't think he wrote that one though, but then a few weeks later, or a few episodes later, you've got them fighting the Daleks and they're just totally fucking useless, and all the fear factor and the horror factor that he'd built up in a few previous episodes just disappeared. Thing is, there are people out there, I'm sure of it, that are like John Lumick. You know, I don't think the Cybermen may happen. I think they probably will happen in some capacity. Maybe not in our lifetime, maybe not in our children's, maybe not even our grandchildren's, but I do think that there is a massive possibility that they will happen in some way, and maybe write a story as a warning of that. You know, don't go too far. Like, yes, we want to survive, we want to live longer, but at what cost? I just want a good fucking Cyberman story. Is that too much to ask? Don't just have them being blown up willy-nilly. Let's make them difficult to kill, you know, and if you kill one of them, well, there's two fuckers coming around the corner, and if you get rid of them, well, there's three more coming. Like, they just don't stop. Although it would be cool to see the full conversion process and like actual zombified people walking about, but I don't think it'll ever happen. In the comments below though, guys, let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you want to see more from the Cybermen, or are you happy with the way that they've been written in recent times? Whatever it is, let me know down below, especially if you've got any like story ideas for Cybermen as well. Write them down, because I'll be interested to read them. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe for more. Social media and Patreon links will be in the description as always, so if you'd follow me on any of those things, I'd absolutely love you for ever. But until next time guys, you take care of yourselves. Goodbye.